Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose,
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
and we are here with a new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. We hope you have a very fine beverage at hand because we have some fun to be had in this video. We're gonna have ourselves a little bit of a party here.
Rachel,
Rachel,
Rachel, Rachel.
Rachel.
Okay, Rachel is the new HOH. Oh, this is sort of
Woo!
a little bit about what we were talking about yesterday. I mean, Rachel was in huge trouble if she did not win this HOH, and she did. And the nominations, they are in and they are messy.
They are really, really messy. Like, we got very, very lucky. The ceremony ended, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes before we started recording this video. So we got to see that. We got to see a little bit of the fallout. But I think if everyone out there who has had like mad love for Rachel for the past decade and a half, for her reputation of not giving a you know what, for making big moves, epic television, I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed by this. You're going to be like doing laps of celebration around your living room.
Yeah, I mean, these nominations make complete sense for Rachel's game. I mean, some people are big mad about being on the block, and you know what? So sorry. You deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Mickey.
Yeah, we have a lot to say here about Mickey, who has managed in 3 weeks to become like one of my least favorite Big Brother house guests in a while, which is
Oh.
it's a real achievement to make me actively dislike you in as short of amount of time as Mickey has.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like to have beef, but I mean, yeah, I do. So here's the thing with her specifically, she has been talking about taking it out of the game and like embarrassing Rachel in front of her family and her children. Like, that stuff makes me really upset. So, I was kind of I was out on her before with the birthday thing, but that
Yeah.
thing made me completely out. Leave it in the game.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with Mickey, what she said before and after the nomination ceremony. Rest
Hmm.
assured, we're going to get into all of that, all of Rachel's thoughts beforehand, what her decision making here is. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because it feels like we're going to be on the cusp of greatness this weekend in the Big
Yep.
Brother house. We are here with daily live feed updates. We don't want you guys to miss any of that. We're also going to be covering the new Amazing Race season, which, if you guys did not know, features all Big Brother alumni. It's going to be messy. I am curious already to see how long some of these people are going to last in that environment.
Yeah, we're really excited for Amazing Race. We will be back covering Survivor again.
Yes.
So hit that subscribe button, stick with us. And if you want more Big Brother discussions with us, you can head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below and you can chat with us over there as well.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that.
Okay, so Mickey, Morgan, Vince. Is anybody surprised about these nominations? I feel like this is the way it was going to be.
I feel like it was the way it was going to be, but I would be lying if I sat here and said that I did not be on some sort of, that I wasn't on some sort of emotional roller coaster. See, clearly it's already affected my brain.
Yeah, there was some messiness with it. There was like a period of time that Rachel was in the DR room for like an hour or something like that. There was, moments where she couldn't fact check things that Mickey was telling her. And Mickey, man, she really went to work on Rachel before these nominations in a way that I haven't seen in a very long time.
This made me so unbelievably confused. And I feel like it made the internet confused because I saw all these like tinfoil hat theories on Twitter because there were a lot of people worried that Mickey was getting through to Rachel to some degree. And a lot of people were like, well, maybe when she was in the diary room for an hour, she already made her nominations and she can't change. We were all trying to be at that stage of grief with this and just bargaining our way that Mickey was still going to be on the block.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit worried that I know production doesn't rig things, right? But at the same time, they do lead questioning, I feel, in those diary rooms to kind of be like, well, what do you think about Mickey? Maybe it's someone you might want to keep around, or if you thought about something like that. I feel like there's leading questions that go on from producers when they're in there trying to get information from her to try to, like, get that running around in her head. Because TV, good TV, you keep Mickey in the house and you keep Rachel in the house.
Yeah, you just want as many fights as humanly possible. And
Right.
let's just go ahead and say this. There's going to be a fight this weekend. It's going to be big. It's going to
It
be
could be
entertaining.
happening right now while we're recording.
I know. You better not do it while we're recording Big Brother. I want to be there when it happens. But okay, we're going to talk about the aftermath of all this, but we do need to start with the before and everything that Mickey and Rachel really talked about and why we were as nervous as we were about this because, we may not have a lot of fondness for Mickey when it comes to her personality, how she acts in the house, but at the same time, she is very, very good at emotionally manipulating people.
Yeah, and she really put work in with Rachel. So let's go back in a little bit of time here. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Okay, we are a little bit before in time now where it's before she has given her nominations and Mickey is going to work on her.
Yeah, and this conversation lasted forever and the feeds cut off still during it. So this was the last conversation Rachel had, which made me even more nervous. But there's just a handful of things that she did in here, and she brought up the whole, oh, I was praying for you, so she's using religion again. It's not the first time she's done that, and I'll make it very clear. I don't have any issue with religious people being on Big Brother at all. I do get a little bit uncomfy when it starts to feel like you're using it a little bit as strategy and you're using it to make people feel a certain way about you.
Yeah, she was having a prayer circle before to like get somebody kicked off the show. You shouldn't be using prayer. My feeling, I wouldn't use prayer to like wish or pray bad on somebody. Like it just doesn't feel right. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's just me. I mean, obviously, it's been done many a time on Big Brother, Survivor. It's never my favorite thing to watch, but at times this sort of stuff is really effective, and I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical about that. And some of the emotional stuff she was trying to pull out of Rachel, it included talking a lot about, oh, we're both entrepreneurs. We've gone through things in our life, we're maybe a little bit older. She really was trying to reinforce all of these personal connections. And at one point, they were talking and she even was like, Rachel, come sit down like right next to me so you're as close and that there's like this physical intimacy between the two of us as we talk.
Yeah, and that can be a really good move depending on the person. If it was me and I was in this house and anybody was like, come sit really nice and close to me so I could have a more intimate conversation with you. I've been pretty honest with you guys. Like, I am not a hugger. If you guys ever meet me, I'm good to shake your hand, but like people touching me and hugging me, I feel like I'm always like just holding my breath until the hug is over. I'm just kind of like a not touchy person. So if she had done that to me and was like, come closer and sit next to me, I'd be like, you're absolutely going on the block. I don't want to be close to anybody like that. Very specific people.
Okay, for me, I don't want you sitting right next to me because not only am I legally blind, but I can't really move my eyes from side to side very well, and I'm totally blind in my right eye. So if you sit over here on the right side of me, I ain't ever gonna know you're there.
Yep.
But ultimately, though, in addition to all of this, Mickey started this whole spiel where it's just like, Rachel, I haven't felt like we've had a real conversation since everything with Jimmy. So let's be real with each other. Like, how are you really feeling? Pour your heart out to me. And Rachel is just like, well, I feel betrayed. I feel like you didn't consider me at all when you're doing some of the moves when you were HOH. And Mickey then does all these mental gymnastics. She tries to blame a lot of this divide that has formed between them and supposedly isolating Rachel. Some of it on Jimmy, some of it on Morgan over the whole jury fight that the two of them had. She tried to also sort of claim, okay, you know what? Maybe she didn't say it this way, but she basically said, Rachel, okay, maybe both of you are in the wrong, because she tried to paint Morgan as somebody who overstepped in the way she was talking about it, but also said, okay, Morgan sort of meant not that you would be a part of our jury and immediately going to jury, but that we would all be moving through the game together, and it was just a touchstone. So she tried to defend Morgan like a teensy bit while also distancing herself, but she tried to sort of lay all that out there.
She really needed to distance herself from that whole jury conversation altogether. Like, Rachel has made it very clear at this point that she is not playing for jury, so just stop talking about it.
Yes, nobody needs to ever mention jury again to Rachel. Even when they've made it to jury, Julie just shouldn't mention it and just keep going because she's going to make Rachel upset. But no, all of this happens, and then we have Mickey proceeding to throw Keanu under the bus really hard for some of the things that he has said to her, things that supposedly he doesn't want Rachel to even make jury. And there were times where I was starting to get really worried that it was like, okay, maybe she's starting to pick up on some of this because of Rachel's body language. I was trying to remind myself, and we'll get more into Keanu and Rachel's conversation
Mhm.
later, but Keanu warned her that Mickey would be throwing him under the bus for
Yep.
some things that he has said, that he has owned, that he has said, because Keanu is an extremely messy player.
He is, but he did the right thing by just being as upfront as he can be with Rachel to be like, these are some of the things I said. It's probably going to come up, but I want you to hear it from me. And that is the best that he can do at this point. Everybody says bad things about each other in this house.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
part of it. You're going to run the bus over everybody to be able to get to the end. But him going to her and owning it before she heard it from someone else, it was the right move.
Yeah, it was the right move. I like to think Keanu is slowly learning. He still has not clocked in for his 2 hours of good gameplay this week, though. I'm sorry, we're not there yet.
No, but that was pretty good.
That was
I'm
pretty
giving him
good.
that.
Okay, he deserves a little bit of that. Okay, so all of this happens, but I started to get especially terrified, like chill up my spine terrified, when Rachel suggested maybe starting over with Mickey during this conversation. Because anytime you hear that, you don't tend to think, okay, this is somebody that, she's putting on the block. If she wants to start over, that means you're trying to repair this relationship.
Yeah, a little worried, but mostly I was just hoping that Rachel was like, okay, I need this conversation to end because I do need to have some other conversations because, Mickey was bringing up other people that said other things. Oh, Kelly said this. And
Yeah.
Rachel's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go talk to Kelly about it. Oh, no, 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 no. You don't want to go talk to Kelly about it. Like, would stop her from actually going and fact checking things that Mickey is saying. And she's like, oh, it would blow up my game if you said anything. It's just like, okay, very, very shady. So my hope was that Rachel was just kind of trying to shut it down, be like, okay, thank you for coming, letting me know this stuff. Let's start over. Everything's good. And let's move on. And then boom, on the block. Yes.
It was really, really satisfying. I think there were two major red flags that Rachel may have caught on. One of them you just mentioned, the whole, Mickey doesn't really want you to talk to Kelly about what she's been. So it's like, that's a little bit concerning. Mickey also is claiming that, she would have nominated Keanu, Kelly, and Catherine, where it's just sort of like,
right.
If you're Rachel at this point, is it a little bit of a red flag that someone is going to be playing it that safe with their nominations? It's just a little bit odd.
Yeah, it's just not believable. Like, she should have picked some other people that at least were bigger threats to try to make it believable. But I mean, Mickey hasn't been that quiet about wanting Rachel out of the house. And, it is what it is.
Yeah. And Rachel knew, she's heard that Mickey has had these conversations.
Right.
And that's why it all just felt very fake to me, very rehearsed. I was just hoping and begging that Rachel wasn't picking up on it. But thankfully, no. Yeah, Mickey is on the block.
Yep.
And we watched just a little bit of the fallout. We only had a chance to watch a few minutes, but Mickey is furious. I cannot even describe like the white hot anger, the complete emotional turnaround from all the tears that she had with Rachel before.
Yeah, and it's back to attacking her as just a person away from the game, about her kids, about her husband, things that just don't need to be in the game. I've always been, if whatever you want to do in the house within reason is within the house. But once you're starting to like bring out other people, like people's children and stuff, like it's not okay. I'm not in for it.
Yeah, like this is the specific thing she said. And she was talking about, Rachel, you haven't changed in 15 years. 2 kids and a husband does not make you a better person. And that's just really gross. It's the kids part of me. Like Brendan. Brendan can take it. Brendan's been on this show, but it's like children are innocent. Like, why do you even bring that up? I know Brendan. Well, Brendan's a great guy. Brendan's just going to be like, don't pay any attention to this, kids.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually these kids are going to be old enough that they are probably going to go and look back at stuff like this.
Yes.
Like, Mickey doesn't need to say things like this. And,
No.
again, in the past, she was like, oh, I'm going to embarrass you in front of your children and your family. It's just kind of like, why?
Yeah, I don't understand why she's taking it to that level, because I also don't think that endears her to anyone else, because it's just like nobody else in the house, like, at least with the regularity that Mickey is doing it, is throwing out things, especially about Rachel's kids. But Mickey, when the feeds came back, she was in this room and, Ava Will and Ashley were there. And it was admittedly really hard to figure out, okay, are these three here because they want to support Mickey, or is it just like they just are waiting for her to leave, so they're just kind of agreeing with what she's
Well,
saying?
here's the thing. I mean, the way that Mickey is taking this, and she's taking it so badly in the way that she's acting. I mean, if I was Ava or any other house guest watching the way that she's reacting to this, I would just want her out on this HOH, and it's not my HOH, because then going forward, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want
No.
her, running the bus over me and my children, my husband, my home, all my family, whatever. At this point, I would just be looking at it being like, this is the time for Mickey to go home, and it's not going to be my problem.
That is a great point, especially because we just remember Ava this past time when she was HOH. Like, one of the big things she said, and one of the reasons why she didn't ultimately want Vince to leave, was because he took the nomination so well and
Right.
he wasn't upset. And
Right.
Zach was more upset. And that was a big part of her thought process. And here is Ava in this conversation, hearing Mickey rant about how Rachel, and we've talked that she's mentioned this before, but now she's saying it
Mhm.
to more people, that Rachel begged her to put her up on the block when Mickey was HOH. She had a moment of emotional weakness, and she talked about maybe because she missed her family. It's just like, I know nobody wants to hear that from any Big Brother player ever,
No.
but I'm going to give a one-time, like, little bit of grace for somebody who is children, young children, and they're having a hard time adjusting to the house. It's like, that's just human.
Well, it was also the way that she kind of went about it, because she was talking about it as somebody else in the house. Ava may want to go home,
Yeah.
kind of thing. It was very clear it was about Rachel, but it was kind of the way that she was going about it. It, it felt like she was just talking it out more than she was like, "Put me up."
Yeah. Okay. I just have to say this though, because this is hilarious. We have talked about Kelly being very socially awkward at times. Mickey is furious that Kelly hugged her and said, "Welcome to the party" after the nom. It's just, Kelly is obviously, she just finds being nominated at this point just to be like, oh, whatever. I mean, Kelly even said, like, you can put me on the block, Rachel, it's fine. And Rachel today was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, Kelly is just that she doesn't know, man. She has no chill on that stuff. She's been on the block a million times. She's also volunteered to be on the block a million times. So
Yeah.
at this point, it's just like, hey, welcome to my side of things. Welcome to the block. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, nobody wants to hear that, but Mickey, just you got to pull it in a little bit, man.
Yeah, this is not, I know it's for a lot of money, but this game is unserious. We just had Vince walking around as a giant egg for a week. It's just,
And you have a bunch of opportunities to fix this and to win yourself off the
yes.
vote. We have OTEV coming up. There's the
Yes.
blockbuster. There's a lot of other ways to go about it. Unfortunately, the social way of going about it, I'm not sure, because it feels like for a while there socially, Mickey was doing quite badly. And then all of a sudden it felt like she was like really pulling people in. And now she's here where she's handling things so badly again. I just don't know how people are really going to take it, if they're going to want to deal with that down the road. Because if you're not going to be the person to take her out, then what? You're just going to be afraid and take her to the end because you don't want her to blow up on you?
Well, I think this is where it's all really emotionally complicated, especially for people like an Ava, a Will, or an Ashley who have had some level of connection with Mickey throughout the season, where I think, she has done things for them before. I think they feel a certain amount of trust with her, but at the same time, they don't take this well, but also at the same time, they recognize that a lot of the things Mickey's immediately saying after being put on the block just aren't true. Like, she's trying to act like, oh, I poured my heart out to Rachel before this nomination ceremony. I prayed for her to win this competition, where they remember and they talked about it after Mickey left. It was just like, she did talk about putting her up on the block,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, did she forget about that? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's really tough because this is a house built on lies, and you kind of
Yes.
forget sometimes who you're saying what to and who you're lying to at that point, that you start to kind of believe your own sauce.
Yeah, like Ashley and Will, they sort of suggested to Mickey, oh, well, don't worry, you'll be fine. We'll save you with the veto. I think there is a 0% chance that Ashley or Will
Oh.
are even going to try to win this veto if they're picked.
Please, Ashley, don't do this. There's something that just hurts my heart, that Ashley is falling into this Mickey trap after all the things that Mickey has done to her and the things she has said about
I
her and
know.
said to her face. Like, I really liked Ashley working with Rachel, and I do hope that they can mend things this week.
I do, and I feel like honestly that they can. I want to believe that Ashley is just giving a lot of lip service right
Come
now
on,
to Mickey. Like,
Ashley.
even if you are, even Ashley, you're upset about a couple of things. I'll understand that part of it, but you don't have to be upset about everything. Like, Ashley is a little annoyed that Rachel didn't tell anybody about the nominations ahead of the
That's
ceremony.
fine.
Yeah, I get that, but she's not obliged to have to tell everybody
No.
this. Like, she clearly did not want somebody to like blow back on her. She knew what she wanted to do and she didn't want her mind changed with it.
Yeah.
That's just a part of the game to some degree here. I think Ashley is just also a little bit upset about the fact that it's like, okay, I pushed for the showmance to go up, or at least Riley, and it's just like, why did that not happen? And okay, here's where
Because the showmance doesn't care about Rachel. That's why. That's why they're not up there. There are people that are like Mickey that have said that they're coming after Rachel. So then she's going to be like, oh, I'll throw Catherine up there. For what reason?
yeah, there's just no real reason. Like, I will say this, and I love Rachel, but the one thing that I do not like about what Rachel is doing is her continued encouragement of the Catherine and Riley showmance. Like, she talked with them today before nominations, and she was just like, us showmances, we got to look out for each other. And I think she's a little bit in the delusion of ice cream parlor with the idea that because her and Rachel are her and Brendan are one of the most successful romances of all time. She wants to view these other relationships through the same lens. I mean, Catherine last night told Riley that she wants things to slow down, and Riley cried, was upset, told her he wanted to be with her the rest of her life, like all this stuff that's just like really uncomfortable. And it's just like, I mean, I'll be honest, during Big Brother 12, I didn't know if Rachel and Brendan were gonna make it. Their relationship was not this. Like, these two showmances are not the same, Rachel.
No, they're not. And it does feel like a bit of gameplay to have that connection, where, we saw Mickey doing that with Rachel, be like, oh, we're both entrepreneurs. Oh, we're a little bit older in this game. Oh,
Yeah.
we're both whatever, to try to make that connection. Everybody does that. This is totally normal gameplay. So to have
Mhm.
Rachel be like, "Hey, you guys are the new us. You're the up and coming showmans kind of thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
crazy kids can make it kind of thing." Absolutely, it makes sense that she'd be doing that. However, this relationship has been so bizarre to watch because it does feel like Catherine really wasn't interested in him. He sort of browbeat her into it, where she was like, I guess I like him now. And then they're
Yeah.
together. And she's again trying to slow it down. There was a period of time where he was like trying to kiss her, and she was like, I'm not okay with it. And then kept getting pushed. And all of a sudden she's kissing him and she's okay with it.
Yeah.
But now she's here where she's like, hey, man, I need to slow it down. I want to be with you forever.
I
Like, none
know.
of this is helpful. If you really want to be with her forever,
Yeah.
you need to just listen to her, let her have a voice. And it feels like I've said this, her
Yeah.
voice is gone.
Yeah, it feels that way. And Riley talks all the time as though the two of them are one player within the game. Like, it's not comfortable or fun. And Rachel is playing the game. I think if she was on the outside, it'd be easier to see everything in a more, clear and focused manner. But here's where I will give Morgan the tiniest bit of credit, because Morgan, at the very least, you took this way better than Mickey did, and you knew it was probably going to happen, so maybe that helped.
Yeah, I mean, she took it as well as she was gonna take it. I mean, she probably, I'm hoping, just has plans to just, I know she doesn't want to do this, just run over Mickey.
Yeah.
Like, if Mickey doesn't win, she should be the obvious target. I know that Vince is up there too,
Mhm.
and he is a very obvious target as well. But I think Rachel might know. I mean, there's still a lot of time. She might realize after this last vote that Vince is just not going anywhere yet. But if she can get rid of Morgan, that at least starts to take away some of his numbers. Zach is
Yeah.
gone. Take Morgan as well. Start to weaken his numbers so that you can get him out.
Here is where I do need to have the face palm of shame for Morgan. Because Morgan, here's the one thing you have said after nominations: that you believe this is all Lauren's fault and Lauren threw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Stop. I don't know. Lauren had a conversation with Rachel, sure, before nominations, but the way Lauren communicates, like Rachel asked her, Lauren, did you vote to keep Zach in the game. And she said, no, for some reason, Rachel's not owning up to having her vote be the way that it
No.
is. Like my tinfoil hat is that she's just trying to see how people respond to her in their honest way. So it's like, okay, this is Lauren being honest. So I know if she's honest about other things, this will be her body language. Like that's how I'm interpreting it. But yeah, the whole conversation with Rachel and Lauren, and it's kind of like how Lauren talks with everyone. I relate a little bit to Lauren with this because, and Jess knows this, that I will be on the phone with like customer support or something and I'll try to explain a problem. I will explain a 2,000 word origin story about how I got to the problem instead of being Lauren takes.
Yes, Matt will take you on a journey to get to what he's trying to tell you.
Lauren will spend 10,000 words to explain something that needs 100. And that's just why there was no, I must throw Morgan under the bus in the middle of this conversation.
No, Lauren is only very direct with a few certain people.
Yes.
Same as you. You are that way as well when, you're a little more comfortable with the person that you're really zeroing in on. You can get there. And I think Lauren is doing that pretty well there with like people like Vince and stuff like that too. But if she's not working with you, she is like a drunk person riding a canoe down the river. And you're just like this all the way down until it tips over. And then you've gotten no information and you've actually gotten nowhere.
Speaking of drunk canoe rides, let's talk about Keanu.
I'm Canadian,
now.
so we're on the canoe.
Okay, yes, there you go on the canoe. See, the metaphor I sort of make with Keanu, and I think we said this a little bit with the no, yes in the competition yesterday, but watching Keanu try to strategize today, it was almost the same thing. It was like watching somebody play Mario Kart on hard mode with 100 blue shells flying at them, and you think he's going to be hit by one at every single moment, because Keanu, it's just, okay, I still love him. But he is so infuriating at times because he will get all this information from Rachel. Rachel will be like, Keanu, don't go and tell this information to Vince. I know as soon as we're done, you go and tell information to Vince. And here's Keanu talking to Rachel. He'll wait an hour this time. He'll learn something and then he'll go and tell it to Vince.
No, and he's even trying to like hype himself up to be like, all right, this time I'm not going to do this, but he does. He just really trusts Vince. Vince is very good at convincing people to tell him things.
Keanu's just so funny. I can't hate this
is
man
so funny.
even when he's so bad.
He's great.
Because,
he's a terrible player, but he's so great.
And I think a lot of it, though, and here's the real talk on some of why he trusts Vince. And he explained some of this to Rachel in their big, long talk today, where it was just like, I have come to Vince with questions, sort of like, oh, I've heard about this group called the Heavy Hitters, and Vince immediately comes in and explains things to him because Vince knows, okay, this Heavy Hitters doesn't matter anymore. No. And so it's easy for Vince to be honest about things that are irrelevant, but they feel important to somebody like Keanu. And it's just that, Vince has nurtured that relationship. And I think Vince realizes that it's like, okay, Keanu is someone who can be useful to me. And this is sort of the big problem that is in Keanu's armor with Rachel. And that's why, I agree with what you said earlier about Mickey, where it's just Mickey's taking this so badly. And she is seemingly such an emotionally manipulative player that I think Rachel has to get her out this week. I don't think you can keep Mickey in there.
And I think for the house, it's the right thing to do as well, because there are a lot of scared players this season that aren't really making the bigger moves. And nobody wants to deal with somebody who's, taking something badly. I mean, we even saw Riley with that whole first, like, oh, who's the imposter?
Yes.
Who's in here doing whatever? And everybody thought it might be him, the accomplice. And he took it so badly, even though it wasn't him, right? Like, I wouldn't want to deal with putting Riley up. Riley's going to take it so badly, make everything so miserable. And the way that Mickey is behaving, she's behaving in a way that I'd be like, oh my goodness, if Rachel doesn't get her out, I'm telling you, I'm not the person that's putting her up on the block. I do not want to deal with a whole week of her being miserable at me and cursing out my son.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the right move to make. Now, we haven't seen much of Keanu or Vince after the nomination ceremony, but Vince knew there was a good chance he was going to be going on the block. I think Vince has shown he's a pretty good sport about this stuff.
Yep.
Keanu, he tried. He tried his best in every angle with Rachel. Like, he suggested at one point, okay, maybe we'll put up Vince Mickey and Lauren. That way Morgan's not up there. And that way, if Morgan wins the veto or if something happens, or even if Vince stays on the block, then that ensures that Vince is going to be okay. Like, he really wanted her to just encourage Vince that he was just going to be a pawn, that it was all gonna be all right. And I get the sense that Rachel wanted Keanu to say, if I'm drawn in the veto and I play and I win, that I'm not gonna use it. But they never really fully got there in that conversation.
No, and it's just they're just on opposite sides of the coin with this one. Keanu is so close to Vince. He really trusts in him. He does really want to trust in Rachel. Rachel wants to trust in him. They are just two allies that kind of are stuck together. Frenemies is where we're going with this at this point between the two of them. But it's so difficult because she knows that he really wants to keep Vince. And I think in his heart of hearts, he knows that Rachel wants to get Vince out.
Yes.
But the real is Mickey needs to be the one to go, because while Vince probably will come after Rachel after some point, Mickey's definitely going to come after Rachel, and she's even more so going to come after her now, but she was going to come after her anyways. Mickey was basically like, it doesn't matter who wins the HOH as long as it's not Rachel, because we're all going to put out Rachel.
Yeah, I think Rachel just kind of has to also accept now, like, maybe you can pull in Ashley again, like maybe you can do some work with Will, with Ava, but ultimately Keanu is, in a lot of ways, your messy number one ally, because Keanu is the only person who has talked on multiple occasions, including again today, about having this frenemies final two, about taking her to the end. And Keanu's justification for taking Rachel to the final two, it's partially valid, but also just hilarious. He is convinced that I have to be a legend, and in order to play a legendary game, you have to go against the best. And he sort of brought up Cody in here, where it's just like, you know what? Cody didn't win the first time. Everybody dogged him for going to the end with their whatever. Cody gets back for a second season, and he's just
he dominated.
Yeah, Keanu just feels like this is his ticket to playing the game twice. And he also said, I need a second opportunity if I want to win twice. So Keanu's not saddling for just winning this season.
Oh, listen, we'll see you on Traitors, Keanu, and it's going to be so good.
I know. Okay, Keanu, let's have some real talk here in Keanu's corner for a moment. I know your default is going to be going on the challenge. I don't want to watch
Traitors, please.
Yes, I don't really like the challenge that much. I'm sorry. Go on the Traitors, but
I feel like he'll be on the challenge.
I feel like that's probably how it's going to go. But yeah, I think Rachel keeping Vince around, it's a risk, sure, but it would help to not take off Keanu entirely. She gets rid of somebody who is really, really going after her.
Yes.
And it seems like at this point, we are kind of in a spot where the formations of a Kelly, Keanu, Rachel final three are starting. The Triforce of chaos is here.
I can't believe
Let's
this is where it's
go.
going. No, it's good, but it's so bad. How did Rachel end up in this situation? She is a legend. She has played this game twice. She has won this game. How did she end up in this spot where she has Kelly and Keanu as the people that she's with?
Rachel even brought this up, and it's really, really true, but I think she's really lucky she said this to somebody in Kelly who didn't really understand what she was talking about.
Yes.
Rachel's starting to sort of draw comparisons in her head between this season of Big Brother and Survivor Redemption Island. So for those of you who are not Survivor fans, this is the season that Boston Rob won. And this season was Boston Rob, Russell were the only two returning players. Russell got booted pretty early. Boston Rob won, but he also won by taking two of the most obvious goats of all time to the end. You had Philip Shepard, who was talking about being a special agent for like some unknown law enforcement entity for the entirety of the season. And then like one of the youngest contestants of all time. Rachel basically told Kelly, you are a scrub, you are my stooge, you cannot win. But it's like, Kelly, I don't think she really got it or understood it, but you know what, that's more than fine at this point. But like that final three, I think potentially is really interesting and exciting. But if it even lasts, like there were a lot of other conversations that happened with Rachel today. I mean, honestly, not all of them are really like super, super relevant at this point.
I'm just happy to see something different going on the block. It's like,
Yeah.
it's nice to have Keanu have like a week off the block. Kelly, even though she's still offering herself up every
Yeah.
single week, she's not up there. Like, it's nice to have things changed up a bit. I was really hoping Rachel would win this one,
Yeah.
so that we can see a little bit of back and forth. Because if Rachel just went home this week, then it would just be Kelly next, Keanu next. Like, it just would have been gone.
So there's just two little things here to mention. First and foremost, your guy Will, he's really moving up the charts here as I think underrated players this season. Like, he really pulled Ava over the past 24 hours a little bit away from defending Mickey as much as she was. He is just really, really aware. I worry he's too subtle, but I'm liking his game more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good social player, but at the same time, for me, as much as I'm Team 50 and I like him,
Yeah.
I would like him to be playing a little bit more than he is. He just feels like kind of invisible in a lot of ways. Like, he's not really being targeted. A little bit of gameplay is being spoken to him, but not really. Like, it's just not anything. But I just like him as a person.
Yeah, he's cool. He's fun to watch. I wish he did a little bit more, but you know what? There's still a lot of time. Finally,
Yeah.
Morgan, now you're getting the double face palm. You're getting the full
Oh.
Picard because last night you also begged us to give you a power. Zach already did this and it was dumb then. It is still. We will never support, I say this as though it's never happened or will never happen, but we should never support anyone who begs for a power in this game.
No, if you're begging for a power at this point, then you just aren't a good player and you need to go home. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason why you need to have idols and advantages and all these other things that you get on Survivor. There's 5 million different advantages to get you out of hot water. This is a social game. If you can't social game your way out of a problem, then you don't deserve to be here.
All right, well, that is where we are.
Which is
coming
why I'll
off.
never play this game.
I think we
I'm
can say
so
that
bad socially.
I am really bad socially. I've
You're
thought.
better than I am.
Okay, here's what I've thought about.
I
I've
think you would
actually
do okay.
I've thought a lot about this because they announced recently that Traders is doing an all newbie season, and
Yep.
it's just like I would never be on reality TV again. I've had that experience on Beauty and the Geek. I'm done. I do think the Traders is the one show I would actually be kind of decent at because I feel like I could be a really good trader, or I would have a lot of
Oh, I'd be really
fun.
bad at that.
I would probably go overboard because I'm having too much fun, but that's like the only one that appeals to me.
Yeah, I feel like as a trader, I would be really bad at that because I feel really guilty, like about lying and, sneaking and doing that type of stuff. I feel like I would do much better as a faithful. I feel like when I'm lying, people are able to just read it on my face. I'm so bad.
I'm just too much of a ham. I think I would eat the scenery too much. And when they outed me as a trader, I would be like, I am a trader. I would make the biggest show of it. I would have so much
Yes,
fun.
you would.
All right, now that is where we are in this edition of Big Brother 27. Obviously, very, very busy day on the live feeds. We're so grateful you guys are here with us. Let us know your reaction to the nominations. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more to say this weekend about OTEV, the aftermath. Hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any of that coverage. Support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Lots of Big Brother talk happening there. We'll see you here next time.